The security alarm blared through the glass halls of the upscale corporate tower, echoing like a siren of fate. In the frozen moment that followed, all eyes turned to the source. A young woman with trembling hands and wide, disbelieving eyes, standing across from a suited man with a titanium smile and a Mont Blanc pen. His hand was halfway to signing a $200 million deal. But her voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Amelia Rise wasn't supposed to be in that room. Not by a long shot. 2 months earlier, she was folding clothes in a thrift store in the south side of Chicago, saving every penny she could to keep her mother's lights on and her little brother out of trouble. Life hadn't handed her lemons. It handed her the rind. Her father walked out when she was 10. Her dreams of college faded with her mother's diagnosis. But she never stopped moving. Never stopped hoping, even when hope seemed like the most foolish trick of all. When she landed a minimum wage job as a cashier in the lobby cafe of Aurora Tech's glittering downtown headquarters, it felt like a miracle. Her first paycheck was a lifeline. Her name on the company roster, however small, gave her a sense of belonging she hadn't felt in years. She wore her uniform like armor and smiled like it could change the world. And maybe, just maybe, it did, because that smile caught the eye of one man, Colton Dwyer, the CEO of Aurora Tech. Colton was everything the business magazine said he was: sharp, relentless, terrifyingly intelligent. But what they didn't say, what they couldn't say, was that he was also exhausted, burdened, haunted by the weight of legacy and ambition. Every day, he passed the same cafe on his way to meetings that would reshape industries, and every day, he saw the same young woman handing out cappuccinos with more sincerity than most boardrooms carried in their quarterly reports. She didn't know it, but Amelia reminded him of someone. His younger sister, who had died a decade earlier in a hit-and-run Colton never got over. She had the same fire in her eyes. The same unbreakable spirit that didn't belong behind a cash register. So one rainy Thursday morning, he asked her name. She froze, stammered, wiped her hands on her apron, and said, "Amelia." Nothing more. Just Amelia. That was the beginning. In the weeks that followed, Colton started taking his coffee at the cafe instead of from his private assistant. He asked questions about her life, her dreams, why she always wore the same faded bracelet on her wrist. She told him little things. Not everything. Just enough. Enough for him to see the hunger behind her humility. Enough for her to see the tired man behind the billion-dollar eyes. One morning, she noticed a stack of paperwork in his bag. A proposal. Her eyes scanned the logo Synergos Corp. The tech world had been buzzing about the possible merger for months. It would change everything. And Amelia, ever curious, asked the question that would change her life. Is that the AI deal? Colton blinked, surprised. She wasn't supposed to know that. She wasn't supposed to understand that. But she did. What she didn't know was that her question planted a seed. That night, Colton reread the proposal and found himself wishing he had someone like her in the room. When it was written, someone who saw through the glitter to the substance. Someone who didn't care about headlines, only about honesty. So the next week, in a moment that felt like fiction, Colton invited her to sit in on a pitch meeting. Just to listen, he said. You've got instincts. Amelia thought it was a joke. Her hands shook as she sat in the corner of the glass conference room, surrounded by executives in $1,000 suits. But she listened, and she learned. Then came the day. The deal was about to close. Taut $200 million, a handshake that would ripple through Silicon Valley like an earthquake. Synergos' executives flew in on private jets, armed with dazzling presentations, beautiful metrics, and charm that could sell sand in a desert. Amelia was in the room, only because Colton said she should be. She sat by the window, silent, invisible. Until she wasn't. The lead negotiator from Synergos, a smooth-talking man named Brad Whittaker, began showcasing the AI's core algorithm. He used slate of hand and tech jargon to show off how their predictive model could optimize supply chains with 99.7% accuracy, The room nodded. Investors beamed. Colton reached for his pen. And that's when Amelia stood up. She didn't plan it. She didn't even fully understand why, only that something felt off. A trick she'd seen before, back when her little brother had gotten into coding scams on YouTube. A subtle duplication tactic meant to mask flaws in data. She walked to the screen. Her voice quivered. "That's the wrong trick," she said. Brad laughed. "Excuse me." She didn't flinch. "You looped the input model to show a false positive. That's not optimization. That's prediction masking. It looks impressive, but it's only as good as its variables. And you're hiding them.